Welcome to episode 51 of Winging It. Hello, old friend. By old friend, I mean the relegation zone. It's been a while, but we, unbelievably, as we were just saying pre-recording, haven't spoke since the Fulham game. So here we are.
Too busy bloody blowing up the internet, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Blowing up the internet.
50.1 and 50.2. Big things, you know?
Well, before we get into that, I'm going to crack open this beer because I need it. I need it.
Well, you're not feeling a bit grumpy, are you? You cheering up?
You're the grumpy one here.
What?
Yeah, you curmudgeon.
You're a contrarian.
So, I might have to include the opening now for context. Thanks to everyone who listened to the Chris Grierson interview or watched it and had the unfortunateness of having to see our faces. But thank you for that. But we're a bit confused because there's been a couple of comments saying that they're all shocked at how young Albert is, considering how miserable he is on the podcast. So I do wonder if there's been some confusion, Hesketh, over who's who.
I don't think there's any confusion at all. I wonder the same thing every time I speak to him. How are you so young? And that's from looking at him. And then we get into his, what he talks about. And someone called him a curmudgeon. And I think that's the perfect word.
How do you feel about this, Albert?
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, I'm sure there's got to be some sort of admin error somewhere. Like I say, I'm convinced that I've been confused with Hesketh, but there's words and pictures. So, I mean, I each their own. But I'm not fucking grumpy.
But
there's nothing like being accused of being a curmudgeon to turn you into a curmudgeon.
But it was kind of a double-edged sword because he did call you young.
A young curmudgeon. Good name for a band.
You're the youngest one of the three of us, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. I am young.
That's weird.
So what were your highlights, Albert? What did you enjoy about the Grierson pod?
Doing it or enjoying it back?
Well, either or.
Now, I can't say I've watched it because I don't like watching myself. Nothing worse than making eye contact with yourself.
Need to take that mirror down from your ceiling then.
Unbelievable. And then actually we've got some cupboards that come up across above our bed with some lights in it. And about 9 years ago, Arthur stuck a sticker of PC Plod up there. And we've never, not because we have any sentimental value to it, but we've never taken that sticker down. And every now and then I do find myself making eye contact with policeman Plod, who's got his whistle in his mouth as if he's about to put a stop to whatever it is he might be witnessing, which you don't really need when you're 40 with two kids. But we're moving on. What was my favourite bit? My favourite bit was I liked hearing me. I liked hearing me talk. I like hearing you talk, Terence, and Chris Grierson was brilliant as well. I liked hearing him talk, and there was there were the highlights.
Yeah, through my amazing editing skills, people might not realise that Hesketh and Albert was sat on the same sofa, but we had to keep them quite far apart.
Yeah. It was like Blind Date. There was actually a screen between us, but you just couldn't see. You couldn't see that bit in the cropping.
Yeah, every time I called you Bachelor Number 1, it didn't appear in the edit. It's weird.
Same question to number 1. Why are you such a...
What about you, Hesketh, then? What were your favourite
curmudgeon?
But my favourite bit of the whole thing was halfway through when I got to go for a piss because I was absolutely desperate for about 25 minutes. I quite liked Grierson talking about Delaney going mad at him in the car park for filming training. That was quite good.
Yeah, I could see why that would be scary.
Yeah, I mean, my overriding image of Damo is him and Diego Costa when we played him at Stamford Bridge, and he absolutely took him over. I'm just the image of him doing that in the car park to Grierson because Pard said he could film. Great.
Yeah. And the Pardew punching walls was also equally scary, I imagine.
Would that have been scary or embarrassing?
More or less embarrassing than if he'd done the FA Cup final dance just with you in the room.
That'd
be maybe weird.
Or heavily implied that American owners don't know a lot about football in a post-match interview against a fairly unimpressive result against a terrible Southampton side.
God, you've logged that in your memory.
Don't you remember that? He was giving it all the... And then, some people don't really know about football. And it was like, mate, Fraser Forster absolutely monged up for that goal. And then I think, did we score 2 more after that? Was it 3-0?
Yeah.
Mate, calm down. Let's calm down here. You should have been sacked 4 months ago. Is what I would say if I was grumpy and a curmudgeon, but I actually liked him. So...
Oh, was that the one when he got caught by Benteke?
Yeah.
Did Benteke tackle him or something? Or he just
Fraser Forster tried to do a Rabona or some fucking FIFA move, whatever other young people call it. Fellow young people describe football tricks.
Didn't it just bounce over his foot, actually, thinking about it? And Benteke just tapped it in. And thank you very much. Golden boot in the MLS, Benteke, no less, by the way.
Put some respect on the name. Yeah. Finally, the world realises.
Not Messi, not Suarez, Christian Benteke.
The real GOAT.
Bring him back in Jan. No. But yeah, so thanks to everyone who listened. Thanks to Grierson for doing it. Really enjoyed it. And
he was great.
It's up there forever. So go back and listen to it as and when. Pick up on the stories. It's definitely worth a couple of listens. Grows more and more. Get a bit more of it. But yeah,
we're saying it's a modern classic.
A modern classic.
Is it it's like a M. Night Shyamalan film? Like every time you go back, you notice a little bit.
The twist at the end is that Albert isn't 60.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get some of the uncut footage and see more of Hesketh's go for a piss.
I hope you haven't got a camera in the toilet.
There was unfortunately no camera in the toilet.
I'm glad he wasn't still mic'd up. There was a landlord who did a quiz at a pub in Serbia and had a wireless mic, and at half time you'd hear him going for a massive slash on the speaker system, be like, "Oh, come on."
Yeah, there's a few stories like that knocking around, isn't there, with mics? Right. Belting story from Iron Appa. Jason Puncheon lasted 2 games at Iron Appa FC. Any idea what went on Hesketh? Because he won them both.
He's a manager.
Both games.
He's a manager somewhere else already now. And I think it's back where he was before Paphos. So I reckon that's where his kids are. Because I think his kids go to school in Cyprus.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it is a bit weird. To be fair, I went to Iron Appa when I was 18 and I only lasted 2 weeks. So,
how many away games did you win?
Huh? 2 weeks. It was great. It was like Croydon, but sunny.
Hang on. You stayed for an entire 2 weeks? Were you partying on the strip?
Yeah.
For 2 weeks?
Well, I didn't drink, did I then? So I was just on pop. Pop, not poppers.
Yeah, that makes it weirder.
No, man, I was there for vibes. Me and Trevor Nelson had some banging nights out. It was great.
Sorry, listeners, slight diatribe. Did you eat the jacket potatoes on the strip? Were they there then?
Is that a euphemism?
No, when I went Iron Appa, my mate was DJing out there for a summer, so I went for 4 or 5 days, and I was ruined. No.
Topper. Absolute topper.
No. But at 5, 6 in the morning, everyone's pissed up on the strip eating jacket potatoes with boiling hot fillings.
That sounds great.
It does sound great.
It was exceptional. I was like, this is not going to work. But it's pretty much the only hour in Iron Apple because it's so hot that you could eat a jacket potato with a boiling hot filling. And it worked. It was unbelievable.
Well, now I feel like my 2 weeks in Iron Apple were half lived.
Exactly. You idiot.
I know.
How could you?
I was there for the vibes. I should have been there for the beans and cheese. Gutted.
Nice. Good old times.
Anyway, Jason Puncheon. Good job. See you later.
See you later. Straight into another place. Isn't it like he's now had like 4 jobs this year or something?
He's just doing a tour of the island, I think. Bit of sightseeing. Get paid for a couple of games and bounce.
Maybe he's trying to get his kids into different schools. He was like, I've got to get in the catchment area. So I'm going to take this job at Iron Apple. Didn't quite work out. Talking of kids... AI tried to tell me this week that Ravel Morrison is the son of former footballer player Crystal Palace player Clinton Morrison. It told me very, very confidently that Ravel Morrison is in fact Clinton Morrison's son.
Wow. What did you type in to get that?
We were trying to. I was trying in my brain. I was like, I'm pretty sure Clinton Morrison lives in the Midlands now, because I think his son plays for Forest. So I was trying to work out if his son did play for Forest, and AI was like Ravel Morrison, the son of former Crystal Palace player. Blah,
wow.
blah, blah.
Any relation to Mark Morrison?
Yeah, I already got someone saying no, that's Van Morrison's son. Yeah,
very good.
But I did reach out to Clinton Morrison for comment on Twitter, but alas, got nothing back.
It's too big for that now, mate. It's too big for us.
I mean, age-wise, it's pretty close. I mean, it's on the wrong side of the line just about, but Morrison could have had him at 14, Clinton. So it's possible.
Biologically speaking. Yeah.
I don't think it is, though.
We'll have to wait for the Ravel Morrison episode of Who Do You Think You Are on BBC for that one to unfurl.
Oh. Yeah. Also, been watching TV this week. We started a new series called Sweet Pea. Have either of you watched this?
Nope.
It's the girl from who was
Fallout.
in Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, turns out it's from my neck of the woods. She's from Whitechapel, which I didn't know. But spend about 5-6 minutes of the first episode in the Pawson's Arms.
Very nice.
And I think some more of it was in Chislehurst. I recognise loads of places in it, but yeah, but they'd taken down all the palace crests off the. Because now the Pawson's Arms had the big like wooden sign above the door has the palace crest on it. Took it down or covered it up.
Bit out of order.
Let's find out who did the art department.
Albert, get on it.
I'll have some.
I'll have words.
I'll have a word.
Good.
What's the show called?
Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea, yeah. On the shit list.
Be like, you'll never work in this town again.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am?
Probably couldn't get it cleared. So it's probably I can only assume it was a legal issue rather than a creative issue.
Could have asked Grierson, couldn't we?
That's another story for another podcast.
Sharon Lacey would have been on the emails to them. get that out of Sweet Pea.
I actually watched, sort of related to that, I watched the film Twisters over the weekend, which was massively average film. But there's a character in it who's from a journalist from London, who, by the way, sounds like he's from fucking Eton or somewhere like that. But he's like, oh yeah, I'm from South London, between Streatham Hill and West Norwood. And Vanessa described my reaction as hooting and hollering. I was very excited.
That's a very, very specific line of dialogue.
It is, and so it makes me think that someone in the film, who working on the film, is from Crown Point and was like, right, we're going to fucking get this in the dialogue.
Crowbarring it in.
Yeah.
But don't worry, they'll cut it out. They'll definitely cut it out. Oh no, they've left it in.
Yeah. So I was quite excited about that.
But he's probably like, those super posh people move to the rough areas of London and then say they're from there.
Yeah.
It's more
He's
like
really
that.
from like leafy Surbiton.
Yeah, exactly.
Oi, leave Surbiton alone. I used to live there.
Yeah.
Hollingsworth Road. Shout out. There's an idea for a film for Twisters 3. Let's set it in Streatham High Road. Let's have a tornado going up Streatham High Road.
Wouldn't last a day.
Yeah, God, that tornado wouldn't make it from one end to the other straight away. Let's be honest.
It wouldn't even get to Kennedy's chip shop. Done.
No,
out.
No, it'd have to get past my nan if it's trying to get to Kennedy's.
Exactly. Shout out Kennedy's, by the way, if you're listening and you want to sponsor us.
I was going to say shout out my nan.
Also shout out your nan.
Shout out, big up Marge
for defeating the tornado. You haven't heard of it because she beat it before it became news.
Forget the tornado, Hurricane Marge. That's when you got to look out for.
Did end up with a little bit of a conversation on Blue Sky because that tends to be where stuff happens now, not on Twitter anymore. Around Palace appearing in other movies or so on. It's in a short David Bowie film. There's a Palace scarf.
Nice. It's in Only Fools and Horses near the beginning, I think, as well, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure I've seen that.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's behind Rodney in a scene.
I think
hanging up in the hallway.
One of the characters in Spook's Early Doors had a Palace mug. I think. There you go.
I think I don't know what it was from, but I saw a clip recently. I think it was a BBC show when the copper, I don't know, a copper's done something bad, I think, and he's being introduced, and he starts slagging off Palace for no reason.
Lock him up.
In the interview. Yeah. Did reach out
to my
BBC friend and be like, did you write this joke? Who's a Palace fan?
Any others?
There's got to be.
Ted Lasso, but I guess that kind of...
Yeah, Ted Lasso's a bit obvious.
All right, sorry, I didn't realise we couldn't point out obvious ones.
No.
Who's grumpy now? Fucking hell.
Yeah, but I couldn't think of any more off the top of my head. There's got to be some.
Albert, are you thinking or have you fallen asleep?
6 of one after the other.
Well, he is an old curmudgeon. It's narcolepsy kicking in.
By the way, T, you didn't actually tell us what you were drinking, did you?
I didn't. That's a good point. I got inspired by Carl, who's, I guess, 1/4 of the Winging It speakers.
Chris Grierson feeling very aggrieved.
Tallis in Wonderland. I just saw it randomly in a shop, and he's drunk it on the pod a couple of times from Arbor Brewery.
Any good?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, nothing. It's nothing. It's just a American pale ale. So
yeah,
nothing out there. You could both drink it, and you'd be fine. Probably in the bracket of the one we had on the Chris Grierson podcast.
Okay, that wasn't too bad.
And I think I could actually quote Hesketh saying this isn't too bad either as well. I think you said that.
Yeah, I said it was definitely better than the birthday cake stout you bought me before.
There you go.
So, small victory.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Can I just stop you there? I'm so sorry. On a technicality, I've just typed in Crystal Palace in film just to cheat and get a bit of research. And apparently, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off scene in Italian Job was filmed in Crystal Palace Park.
Didn't know
Take that, won't we? We'll take that, won't we?
We'll take that.
Okay. I've seen other things filmed in Crystal Palace Park.
Yeah, we're not talking about fucking fake taxi. Do you know what I mean?
No, that is in South London somewhere. I can't remember. It's not in Crystal Palace Park.
It's not in a fucking traffic jam on Streatham High Road, is it?
That's what's caused the tornado.
No,
Too much steam.
I've seen Palace fans talk about seeing it. Like I know it is definitely somewhere in the more sort of leafy parts of South London that happens. So do with that what you will.
Not typing that into Google. Fucking hell. Not now, anyway.
Well, this is your job, Mr. Art Director. Get a Palace shirt into something. Your mission,
again,
should you choose to accept it.
Very difficult to get it through clearance, I'm afraid.
Just
I hate to be...
Or like slide a pin onto someone or something. A little like...
Get Darth Vader with a Palace bobble hat on or whatever.
I'll see what we can do.
No one will know.
The worst thing is, though, it'll just be you Orns is what they actually get in instead. Outrageous.
Don't be a curmudgeon, Albert.
I'm not. I'm very happy.
Okay. Right, last bit of news before we move on to Textor Watch.
Fuck off.
Is the kids have drawn Manchester City away in the third round of the FA Youth Cup.
Better luck next year, lads.
Lovely stuff. And it's also, annoyingly, the day of Friday night before we play Man City at home on the Saturday. So couldn't even tie up nicely in that sense. So you could have got both in. But there we go. So now we've got Textor Watch.
Gentlemen, you played a good game. It's not your fault, but this is fucking corruption.
Tell him, John.
Before we go further in, we've laughed a lot about he's skateboarding and falling off his skateboard and breaking his arm or needing surgery on his elbow. No interjection from Albert there.
No, it's just sitting here so content and happy.
But I've discovered today. There it is. I've discovered today there are actually videos of Textor skateboarding.
I was really hoping you were going to say there are videos of him breaking his elbow.
No, not those videos.
This is fucking corruption.
Yeah, this is my half pike. You can send me to the hospital, but I'll still be here. No, but yeah. So look them up if you just YouTube Textor on a skateboard. You've got several. I might stick some in like the Instagram stories or something tomorrow. But Olympique Lyonnais. How was that? Was that all right?
Yeah,
French club, perchance.
Have been provisionally relegated from Ligue 2 next summer unless their finances drastically improve, with a transfer ban now in place and the club's wage bill under strict supervision by French soccer's financial watchdog, the DNCG. Now, funnily enough, Hesketh, they didn't accept that he said he was going to sell some players from Botafogo and transfer the money across.
Weird.
What? This is corruption, man. What do you mean I can't do that?
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, this his multi-club ownership of shell companies around the world, so he can try and chuck some money in a shopping trolley in one place and send it to another, doesn't really seem to be working too well. Really surprised the French authorities didn't accept that. Weird.
Also, so about 500 odd million in debt now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can they let us have Wilfried Zaha?
Well, he's only on loan there.
That's fine. Whatever. Sell him to Botafogo. Then Botafogo give him a contract extension. And then they release one
would be the sort of owner to sell a loan player.
Yeah.
He really would.
What do you mean I can't fucking do that? Fuck. This is fucking corruption, man. Fuck you, man.
And then he just like skateboards off into the distance.
With a ghetto blast on his shoulder with Rage Against the Machine coming out of it.
with his son just left behind to fight his battles for him.
But then he does it to a locked door and has to slink back past the camera on his way to the actual exit.
But
Stay
yes,
gnarly, dude.
so no, he's amazingly not allowed to sell players from Botafogo and then transfer the money. Botafogo are about to win the league. Actually, feels like it's crazy that a year's gone around already, but I think they're going to win the league. Very, very close at the top. But however, there might be some ways he could sell Botafogo players and then buy Lyon players, which I guess would be some kind of loophole.
Say that again.
If he sold the Botafogo players,
yes,
and then bought Lyon players for overinflated prices from Botafogo.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
It'd be funny if he tried that and then all the Lyon players just refused to go because they don't want to go and play in Brazil.
Yeah.
What happened, by the way, to all of his massive queue of suitors to buy Palace in November?
Well, I was
got
going to get
9 days.
I'm going to get into that. So we've got Botafogo are 2 points clear, actually, with 4 games to go. So and their old rivals Palmeiras are second. So there's
incoming.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hope there's no aforementioned corruption at play.
Meanwhile, Yannick Bolassi's team is just in the relegation zone on goal difference. So
in Brazil?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in Brazil. Did I know that? I didn't know that.
He's been doing all right out there. I think he got injured for a little bit of time, and actually that coincided with our downturn a bit. But he's he scored some goals out there. He's been doing all right.
He just wants to show solidarity with Palace, so he's in the relegation area.
Yeah, exactly. But no, obviously, what this creates is a situation where, obviously, as part of this investigation, he said that he's going to sell his shares in Palace as well, which would improve the situation. But of course, there's, I think, massive differences in how he values Crystal Palace, he shares in Crystal Palace versus how other people value them. And obviously, no one's wanting to spend the sort of money he wants to not be the sole owner of the club and so on. So I think there's a good chance that this really kind of devalues his holding. Everyone knows he needs a quick sale. So, Albert, would you be, if someone's there and you know they need to sell and they're saying they want X amount of money, you're only going to be offering them 70% of that tops, really, aren't you? If you know they need a quick sale.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's a very small number of people, I imagine, in the world that want to actually invest in Premier League football clubs, particularly ones of our stature, and they wouldn't be getting, it's not like they'd be taking over the whole club either. So the general state of the ownership structure with all the different factions, if you want to call them that, added to John Textor's incredibly complicated outside of Crystal Palace network of clubs and ownership model, what a fucking bunch of fuckery. Like you certainly wouldn't come in and just be like, yeah, there you go, mate, there's your money, see you later. Like, you would really want to do your due diligence and liaise with the other parties that got a stake in the club, and you're not just going to waltz in and take it off his hands. Particularly if he's fucking buzzing around on a skateboard.
Yeah. No, so I think it's a bit of a mess for him, and I think this is ultimately going to end. And this is just me trying to play out the scenario in my head. I have no inside information here whatsoever. But it's like... You
wink, wink.
No, I really don't.
No, we got you. All right, we got you.
But
just speculate. Just make something up.
I'm speculating. Blitzer and Harris will end up getting his shares for the price they want them.
For real?
Because I think they're prepared to buy them off of him, but they have a price in mind. And now it's basically...
Seven baseball cards.
Oh, that might be worth a lot sometimes. You never know.
And a box of nerds.
Nerds. Yeah, and one of those skateboards are really fucking quality, spray paint job underneath.
No, one of those mini skateboards that you did with your fingers, but it was also a sharpener. Careful, John.
Yeah, so I think for our, I can't say esteemed part owner, I think it's a bit tricky for him at the moment, and fingers crossed that this will be the end of his Palace days.
Yeah, I hope so. Like to be fair, I think we've all been pretty since he came in. We were like, at best he's enthusiastic and naive. At worst, he absolutely doesn't know what he's fucking doing. Yeah. But I think
at worst, he's Mark Goldberg Mark II.
Yeah, but yeah, like you say, if Harris and Blitzer have a chance to buy it, they're obviously happy to sort of defer to Parish on a lot of things anyway, so that would make that a little bit more easy. But yeah, I'm with you. I just want him. I want him gone. So if someone can just buy the share so he can bugger off, that'd be good.
They're doing all right as well, Leon. Like they're not.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realise they were. I thought they might be in slightly lower down the table, but they're certainly holding their own.
No, well, they had a mare of a start to the last season, was it? And they were in the relegation zone for ages because there was that whole thing of if they were in the relegation playoff at the end of the season, they wouldn't have been able to play their game at their stadium because Taylor Swift was playing there on the date that they would have had to play the game. But eventually they got out of it, and I think they ended up qualifying for Europe because they're in Europe this year. So,
anybody got any Taylor Swift / playoff puns? Anyone?
I know you have because you know her back catalogue.
No, I haven't. I don't know. I was just.
Don't you remember we had this discussion before, and I was asking if Wrecking Ball was a Taylor Swift song. So
no, I know. Listen, even my 5-year-old child knows that that's not a Taylor Swift song.
Well, I know now.
Is you saying you're a Swiftie, Albert, the answer to the curmudgeon accusation? I can't be a curmudgeon. I'm a Swiftie. Have a wristband or whatever they have. Little beaded wristband thing.
Could a chance be a fine thing?
I don't even know if you're doing Taylor Swift puns now.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It was a genuine question. Has anybody got any? I haven't.
Well, email in.
Well, when Textor was on the phone to Taylor Swift talking about this playoff.
Oh, no.
Here we go. What have you done, for God's sake?
Oh, no.
Nothing. She just said to him, "You need to calm down." There you go. That's my Taylor Swift.
I'm lost. Is that a song, Calm Down?
You need to calm down is a Taylor Swift song.
Oh, okay. See?
She's also got a song called Cardigan, which sounds a bit like curmudgeon.
I mean, it doesn't, but
don't blame me.
Don't get grumpy. Just saying. Begins with the same letter.
Everyone just calm down.
Well,
you wait till we talk about the Fulham performance, Albert.
The best person to tweet in with the best Taylor Swift playoff final related pun wins one of Terence's hats. There,
gets locked up. Oh, wins the hat.
You're welcome. Okay. You're welcome, Terence.
Well, anyway, hopefully Textor will be saying, "So long, London." Bing, Taylor Swift song. On his way out.
I love it. He's got a fucking sound effect on his soundboard that does the thing.
He's going to say bing.
But he's on a roll. I've made a wicked pun. I'm going to fucking do the ding myself as well. Ree, ow. This is bullshit, man.
Is that your Textor soundboard?
Oh, if only.
Like this one.
You played a good game. It's not your fault. This is fucking corruption.
Man.
Just Googling if Taylor Swift has a song called Fucking Corruption.
that would be great if you did.
Right. Now, what we do now? Oh, we'll do some listener questions. Some of you lovely people on Blue Sky reached out. Mikey B said, "Will we sell Mark if the price is right?" So this comes around with Newcastle obviously being linked again, saying they're going to come back and have another stab at him in January.
Well, that won't help.
What do you reckon, Albert? 60 million did they come back with that?
Listen, I'm not trying to channel Steve Parish too much, but I think Steve Parish always says if the price is right, if the deal's right, they will sell him. I think it's a bit too early to sit here and say that would definitely be the case because, let's face it, we're in the a bit of a relegation shit pit at the moment, and I don't think even if the price is right, it's not the greatest look for the club to sell Mark Gahey unless he is like, please get me the fuck out of here. 60 million's a lot to reinvest, maybe to improve the squad and increase chances of survival. Should we still be in the severe shit at that point? But I can't see it happening. We don't really tend to do anything major either way in January, and selling Mark Gahey might be the majorist of all majors.
Yeah, and Phil said, are we really going to spend in January? And this is the suggestion that we're after attacking players in January, but our budget is limited.
Yeah.
As
you don't want to sell Mark Gahey. You don't want to sell Mark Gahey and leave a blank space, Well,
this is it, though. Chaddy Riyad comes back from injury. Chris Richards comes back from injury. We've got Shalabar. We've got Lacroix. Is the £60 million then to come in and then reinvest in an attacking player or a couple of attacking players potentially the route to go, Hesketh?
We've got Rob Holding.
Hey,
no.
An anti-hero.
The kids have got Rob Holding.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's about to get battered by Man City's
Man City
under 21.
Away, yeah.
He's on the phone to Damien Delaney. How did you get through it?
To be honest, I'd be surprised if we sold Gay. Certainly, if we're in the same predicament we're in now, and with the fixtures coming up that we have, it's going to be pretty tough to get results. Because I think even though we'll probably get less money selling him in the summer, there'll still be tons and tons of teams who want him. So I think the sale of Gay is obviously a guaranteed sale at some point. The one thing about bringing players in, Cole said it a couple of weeks ago, that that Parish and the board just want to stay up. That's their main goal every year. And if that's looking in jeopardy and they have to spend, then they will. If we do, I mean, the money obviously is an issue, but if we do, something that Glasnow's talked about loads since the summer window closed is how late we did all our business and how it didn't help getting the players bedded in and all that sort of stuff. So I think if we do, the hope is that we've identified who they are already and we go in for them early. But I think we say this every time a window's coming in, coming up, we say, if we get them in early, then we can bed them in and everything will be fine. And then we don't. So I think we do need players in. I mean, we still need a left back cover. We've got like 75 centre halves and one left back. And we definitely need attackers because it's not happening. But yeah, how we finance that, I don't know. If we have to sell, then it's a bit of a risky balance, isn't it?
It's a lot of injuries still to sort of come. Again, it's the overall squad, isn't it? Like when we get to January, if half the injured players are back, like Terence has said, and that's not just the defensive players, that's sort of the slightly midfield players, and is França are still alive, etc. Like we can only take it there. We know Mark Gay is going to go at some point. Mm-hmm. It's probably the summer, and if it's 60 million in January and only 40 or 50 in the summer, then that'll be fine. I don't think there's any bad blood with Mark Gahey by the look of it. He seems to be carrying on. So yeah, I think it's all said and told. It's difficult to say now. If players are back and we can cover it, then there's certainly no need to, like I say, unless he's desperate to go. And I can't imagine he would throw his toys out the pram in January to secure a move. He'd probably find himself with more options in the summer.
Cooperville's
just be a cruel summer. I don't know. Just be a cruel summer if that's the case.
All right. Very good. Very good.
Is that Taylor Swift?
Well,
I genuinely don't know.
I only know this because I was just reading a list of her songs to try and get some.
Okay.
So
I'm out the loop here, guys. I am the oldest one out of the three of us, remember? So
is that a Taylor Swift song?
if it is, it's an unintentional blunder.
In this game, Albert, he's a blank space.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, I already did that one about 5 minutes ago, but he all just carried on.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll shake it off.
I know that one. I know that one.
Hesketh will stand up and do that at the end of the pod on camera, like he normally does.
Fucking hell.
Right. Cooperville's asked, should we let Wilf back in? Now, this obviously comes from Galatasaray have said we don't want him back. He's on loan at Lyon and his game time is dwindling at Lyon. So...
doesn't fancy playing League Two either, does he? Let's be honest.
So, but obviously, I think it's a moot point on the grounds that the amount of tax he'll have to pay if he returns in January to the UK is stupid. So I just don't think it can. I don't think it can or will happen. But
and the stamp duty threshold's coming down, so you know.
Is that a Taylor Swift song?
Yeah. I'll allow you to dream for a minute, though, Hesketh. Just say it was financially possible. Would you have it?
Yeah, of course I would. Like, what a giggle! Shit, of course I would. Yeah, he's the best player ever. I'll take him back. He's going to be better than some of the fucking players we're seeing this season, anyway, isn't he? Even if he's not what he was. So yeah, I'd have him.
Okay, and then we've had Jack MK has asked, will we see more of Devaney this season being involved with the first team? Now, I probably don't think so. Now, Fulham obviously sucked, but when you've got all four of your centre midfielders out and you're having to play a centre back and a kid making his professional debut in centre midfield, it's a bit of a mess, and it's just an unfortunate series of events that has ended up leading us to that scenario. And already with Decore back, and Hughes will be back from suspension, Wharton will be back, in given time, and then who's the other one? Lerma should be much longer away either now, considering he's happened in the Spurs win. It's been quite a while now, so I probably don't think he will be. Anyone got any counters to that?
Yeah, I don't think we'll see him in the team much. He'll probably be in the squad for a bit. I know that he's been training with the first team for quite a lot of the season and is thought of pretty highly. And I thought he did all right against Fulham, actually, considering how difficult a game it was for him. But now that, like you say, Hughes is back from suspension, he's obviously going to come straight back in. I would imagine if Decore is 75% fit, he'll play from the start against Villa. So yeah, I probably won't see much more of him, but I don't think he's done himself any harm going forward.
Now, I saw a bunch of people on social media going mental saying that Glasner had pulled a Roy and slagged off a young player. I'm going to play the clip of what Glasner actually said.
Just a word on Justin, who obviously makes his debut and has obviously impressed you. You gave him his opportunity tonight.
Oh yes, well, he played okay. I think it was also very difficult for him because I think he didn't have the support you always wish as a young player when you have your debut. But he tried everything, and he had some good moments, and overall it was okay.
So I guess he might have broached it in a couple of other interviews, but it's all sort of along the same tone. I thought I was going to hear it, and he was going to be blaming him for the defeat, which,
yeah,
Roy
that's
was
more
guilty of.
Sorry to cut you in now, but like to me, that's more of him being like this more senior player should have done better rather than Devaney's done shit.
Yeah, and I think in terms of his performance, did he stick out for any negative reasons? No, he didn't. Should he have? Maybe, because there's fucking senior pros playing around him. So that's not a slight on him, but it's like I say, it's more of a reflection on the rest of the team. Like, he should have stuck out. but he didn't. And I thought he held himself really well. But, he's certainly not going to start over anyone that comes back fit. But, as we know, we're only fucking 4 minutes away from another injury crisis. So, he's still in with a shout with a run of games. Do you know what I mean? But he's not going to force his way into the team. And that's not a slight on him at all. That's just the level we're at, or the level we're supposed to be at.
Yeah. We're very strong in centre midfield when our players are fit. We've got 4 very good centre midfielders. So
if he could quickly retrain as a left back, then he's got a great shout.
He is left-footed, isn't he? Left-footed.
Yep. He is, yeah.
Called it.
Right, so nicely leads us into the Fulham game. It was always going to be tough. We talked about it on the pod at the time. You lose all your 4 midfielders, always going to be tough. Fulham are in good form, and I thought they played really well on the day as well. But I don't think by any stretch of the imagination they blew us away, particularly not in the first half. And we did create a couple of chances. We had one cleared off the line and so on, but certainly shot ourselves in the foot a few times. And up until about 30 seconds before half-time, Hesketh, Lacroix was having a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And, God, what a cock-up.
Yeah, I mean, I actually... the timing was the thing as well. I mean, I thought Fulham were better than us in the first half, but was like, if we get in at 0-0 after we haven't done much, then that's pretty good. And then you can just sort of reset and that sort of thing. Like you say, Lacroix had been brilliant. He made an absolutely unbelievable sort of blocking tackle earlier in the half and was like really pumped up and the crowd were loving it. I thought he looked brilliant and then just went to sleep for 2 seconds. And, 10 seconds later, Emil Smith-Rowe, who we had been linked with, but went for Nketiah instead, if you believe some of the reports, scored. Obviously, it was going to be him. And then it's like, well, fuck. All of that sort of hard. We haven't played great, but we've held our own against the form team, and we've got a crap sort of like hodgepodge of players put together. And then it's just all undone. And then I didn't really think we were going to come back in the game just because, we were struggling as it was with 11 men. But I'm sure we'll talk about how that changed too.
Yeah, and it's just a bit of game management there, isn't it? You don't need to try and thread a pass like that and be that aggressive when half time is basically there.
Yeah,
exactly. It was a very silly thing to do. And the slight worrying thing about it is that I thought he went into his shell a little bit after he did it. So he's a loud player. He's a bit Mateta-esque in that sense. He's on the pitch and he wants you to know he's on the pitch. And then for the second half, he seems to just sort of plod along and try not to make any mistakes and just, didn't try and grab the game a bit. So it was a bit sad. And the only other thing we'll talk about is the Kamada sending off. I mean, it's a rough tackle, isn't it, Albert? He's kind of ended up only kind of glancing off the player's knee, I guess, but I don't think there's any doubt it was a red.
No, I'd love to try and defend him and say he was hard done by, but he wasn't hard done by at all. It was a red card all day long. And I think certainly not for when he gets sent off 70 minutes, around that mark. I don't think he'd had whilst we as a whole weren't great, I don't think he'd necessarily stuck out as, he's not been setting the world on fire by any stretch, and he's put in maybe 2 half decent performances over the season, but I actually didn't think he was that bad up until that point. Got a little bit lost at times, and maybe that's why maybe it's a little bit of frustration or just losing concentration. That's how tackles like that happen, trying to win the ball back and do something, but it's probably the sort of mistake he won't make again, I imagine, to use a football cliche.
I think you're being kind. I thought you're shit again, but I don't need to go on about that.
Another football cliche.
There was one point where he tried to slide tackle someone, but sort of laid down backwards onto the floor and got run over.
Great.
That was before he got sent off.
Yeah, I always think I don't want to join the piling because I feel a bit sorry for him, but like all game, I'm like, fuck, just put in a tackle for God's sake, just put in a tackle, and then he kneecaps someone. Not like
Not
that,
that one. Not that one.
Yeah. And then the only thing more ill-judged than his tackle is the fucking idiot who's racially abused him when he's being sent off. Second time in under a year that we're going to end up having to ban a Palace fan for abusing someone from that part of the world. So,
yep, idiots.
Indeed. And it's all got a bit quiet as well. Not much on it. Hopefully they've just dealt with it swiftly and whatever.
I like what you've done there. Swift. Oh, that was unintentional.
Yeah. But in terms of, have you ever experienced anything like that in your years going to Selhurst, of a Palace player getting sent off to absolute silence when they walk to the tunnel? I really, that could be the final nail in his coffin for many, you know, because I've seen Neil Ruddock, who wasn't.
I was
really
just thinking about that one.
Take off Marcus Bent's head in a really like important tight game and get clapped off to the corner. I just can never recall a Palace player getting sent off and not getting clapped off.
Yeah, I do feel for him. I mean, I don't think he's been good at all, to be fair. There's a lot of he's the worst player we've ever had. He obviously ain't. And I don't think it's helped that he's not played where he's used to playing or where it plays to his strengths.
What, Germany?
But, yeah. But loads of people have already just decided that he's shit and that's that, innit? So, I mean, you kind of want him to do something amazing and people to say, like, oh, fuck, all right, there is something there, but he's not really. I mean, he won goal of the month, I suppose. But even he was like, oh, okay.
Listen, can you see a future where his song is, "He used to be shy, but now he's all right walking in a dicey wonderland"?
No.
I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah. Because I was thinking that, it was like, it made me think of Shefki Kuchi getting booed off the pitch when he was substituted. I don't remember him getting sent off, though, and booed to the corner or anything. But yeah, it was...
I don't know if I'm misremembering, because it certainly wouldn't have been in silence, but I remember the very fiery game where Neil Dans got sent off last minute.
West Brom, yeah.
Against West Brom with a very ill-thought headbutt. and I remember being a bit like, you fucking twat. But it certainly wasn't a silent walk of shame.
It's mad that game, and whenever I think about that game, how close we were to Hillsborough not happening, in the sense of how it did, because we had one cleared off the line quite late on, which would have sent us up.
Yeah.
Just to go back to Daichi, do you think it's sort of a blessing in disguise that Glasner can't put him in the team for a bit now?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he can't play now until, what is it, City?
Yeah. It's 3 games he misses now.
December, yes. Yeah, that's
what a comeback story that'd be. Imagine that.
Like Seabiscuit. I know I know you're thinking of the same clip as I am from the Office outtakes.
No.
Yeah.
No, I misheard Seabiscuit and thought you said something else, and I was a bit like, what?
Taking you back to your school days, or?
Not my fucking school days.
Oh, right.
Scouts.
Right. So anyway, Fulham's done and dusted. And now next time we go, and we've got another trip to Villa.
Can I just say that makes it sound like we won, and then we did.
Yeah.
Fulham done and dusted.
Done. On to the next.
No. We're not charging £150 for a home ticket. So who's the real winners here? You've not heard Fulham's new stand? 150 notes for an adult, 75 for a child.
Fucking hell.
So if you wanna go, you, your wife, and your 2 kids, £450
No thanks.
for Fulham. I don't know, Ipswich.
Don't even get a tasty jerk.
Good one for the neutral.
Yeah. So, Villa's up. We're back. At this point, do you swap the League Cup win for 3 points in the league? No,
Yes.
don't nod your head. No, stop it.
Yes.
Stop it. We're in the
Yes.
quarterfinal of the cup. But given
Yes.
we've drawn Arsenal away, it's probably,
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
about as far as we're going to get.
Yeah. And that's why I've booked a fucking holiday.
Again.
shout out to Arsenal, £20 pricing for the ticket. Fair play.
Yep.
We've taken a bigger allocation as well because we sold out the initial 3,000 I think that we took. So yeah, should be a good night, especially if we can find a way to pull it off. What? But it's obviously going to be a very different Aston Villa side. I think they've got some players returning.
Yeah.
They'll obviously be playing a slightly different 11. There's been news that Emery's been going hard over the international break, refining everything to pick up their slightly slower start to the season than they would have expected. But
SOP doesn't pull it off.
But any clues as to who's coming back, Hesketh? Is Ebbs back?
Oh, I don't know. He posted something on his Instagram from another advert he did. It's about as much as I know, but from him.
Was it an advert for some sort of leg brace?
Yeah. He's patented it.
Was,
Patented?
He's the new ambassador of those pants that Wilfried Zaha wore back in 2012, whatever.
Fuck is going on?
Who else have we got coming back? So Hughes, we know is back.
Hughes is back. Decore maybe?
Should have more than half an hour in him now, so I reckon he's probably got to start. Is that a...
Yeah, I would start those two. I suppose, who do we play as a 10? Because Nketiah, I don't think is back. Sarr, I guess, must play. I'm trying to think who's in this fucking squad now. Kamada can't play. Maybe Devaney plays again, but as a 10.
Can I change my answer?
No, I can't. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's...
Get Agbenoni on. Fuck it.
Yeah, you might get a kid up there.
Did you think we'd miss George and Ayew as much as we are?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he scored an absolute banger of a free kick for Ghana in the AFCON qualifications.
He did. It was a great goal.
Although Ghana finished bottom of their group. Did
They?
not qualify for the AFCON, yeah.
Yikes.
You're not going to believe that.
Yeah, the only other thing I've read about the game is that Villa are welcoming 3 players back that they've not had for a while. I didn't even bother clicking to see who they fucking were.
Who
The
gives a
headline-
shit?
the headline did
It's a bit misleading. Pau Torres is one of them, the centre back. The other 2 were like, whatever.
Matty Cash.
Matty Cash, yeah. Probably
Yeah,
walks
they
into it. Isn't he a left back? Or is he a right back?
I think he's a right back.
Right.
Is Maatsen their left back? Did they sign him for a long one?
Matson,
Didn't they?
yeah, he's the other one who's back, yeah. Those are the 3.
Fucking hell. Well, we're going to lose. There's my prediction before you even ask me. We beat him in the cup, so we're not going to beat him in the league. That's the rule.
Curmudgeon.
Kamada.
Is he playing? Curmudgeon? Is he back from injury? He's probably got a fucking hamstring problem, hasn't he?
It's not to take the piss here. Isn't he the ultimate curmudgeon?
Well, I think you are.
All right, then, so you're going to predict a loss of...
3-0.
Oh,
I said that really loudly, sorry. I did predict 2-0 against Fulham, by the way, and that came to pass.
probably Ollie Watkins probably to get a couple, given the Chris Grierson chatting about how...
Yeah. At least one of them will be from a defensive mistake.
Wow.
There you go. Albert,
Yeah, what? Yeah.
your prediction?
What did you say? 3-0. 12-0 Aston Villa.
Yeah, I'm not even.
Tight game.
I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother.
A hard-fought 12-0.
We've run out of time, so I'm going to save the question, are we at tipping point, until next week. So,
Is that a Taylor Swift song? I don't know.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That question
But it's a bloody good quiz show with Ben Shepherd.
Yeah, I've seen a really good video and they say Britain's got no culture, and it's people watching Tipping Point in a pub. And when
that sounds a fucking great way to spend an afternoon.
like the
Episode
winning,
100.
The winning token tips over, and the pub just goes mental. Beer goes everywhere. People are like celebrating like it's a goal. So
I might do that Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Right. That's your lot for this week. Thanks for listening. And thanks, Albert. Thanks, Hesketh.
Make sure you listen to the Grierson episode if you haven't yet.
Both of them, yeah. Parts
Both
1
of
and
them.
2. Get some.
Or not. Do what you like. Do what you like.
Don't listen to Albert.
Just trying to be bright and breezy, mate, and you're bringing me down to your level.
I was desperately trying to find a Taylor Swift song to end on around listening to it, but alas, I've fallen short.
Is that one?
That's definitely one. Oh,
It's really not. It's really not. I'll give up. So, yeah, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Another one.
Newcastle, isn't it?
Easy.
Oh, I've actually got our friend Florian Malberg from German Sky Sports will be coming over and watching that game. So I'm giving him the full day experience.
Does he know Kamada's band?
He's getting the calf on Selhurst Road pre-match in the victory, and then if he's lucky, he might get the meat raffle in the victory after. Don't laugh.
At what point will he be stopping it at the Tasty Jerk?
Yeah, we'll do the Tasty Jerk as well.
Sweet.
Get it all in. Lovely. So, thanks for listening, and until next time, up the Palace.
What the fuck is that about? The thing is, you can't whinge about it, because if you fucking whinge about it,
Then you've been a curmudgeon.
yeah, it's like when someone says you're a contrarian.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Fucking grumpy. Whatever.